All right, let's be real here. The Democratic Party's going through its roughest stretch in decades. There's no clear leader, voters are not feeling inspired, and if things keep heading this way, they could lose the midterms and have no real shot in 2028. Now sure, that's still a long way off and a lot can happen between now and then, but the big question remains. What's the actual plan to make the Democrats, well, great again? That's what we're going to get into today with no bias and no emotion. I'm going to ask AI to break down where the party stands right now, give its honest take, and then lay out a plan for how Democrats can turn things around, fire up the voters, and actually win elections again. But before we jump into it, don't forget to hit that like button if you want more videos like this one. And also, subscribe if you haven't already, because it really helps out the channel, and honestly, that's just how YouTube works. So if you enjoy the content, those quick clicks go a long way. Alright, now let's get into it. Alright, here we go. First thing we gotta do is gather up all the latest info so that the chat's fully up to speed, and then we'll get started. And it's ready, so it needs to be clear, straightforward, unbiased, just call everything like it is. No sugarcoating, no fluff, none of that. Now we're gonna ask AI what it really thinks about the current state of the Democratic Party and hear its honest take. And here it is. Alright, here's how I see it. The Democratic Party today is a mess, not in the sense that it's collapsing tomorrow, but in the sense that it has no clear identity, no clear leader, and no real confidence from the public. People don't trust it. Polls are showing historically low favorability, and that's not some right-wing spin. That's real, and it comes from both sides. Republicans hate them, sure, but a lot of Democrats themselves are unmotivated, pessimistic, and basically embarrassed by what the party has become. That's dangerous for a party that claims to be the alternative to Trump and the Republicans, because if your own base doesn't believe in you, you're screwed. The leadership vacuum is obvious. For years, the Democrats relied on Biden as the steady hand, but after 2024, that's gone. Kamala Harris has the name recognition, but she carries the baggage of losing badly and doesn't really excite people beyond loyal Democrats. Gavin Newsom is polished, telegenic, and probably the closest thing they have to a strong public figure, but he hasn't shown he can connect with voters outside California. AOC is famous, but she's divisive and written off by moderates as too far left. Bernie Sanders is still around, but he's aging and technically not even a Democrat. Then you've got Hakeem Jeffries running the House side, Chuck Schumer holding the Senate minority, and Ken Martin trying to rebuild the DNC. These are insiders, strategists, and managers, but they're not household names. Nobody looks at Jeffries or Schumer and feels inspired. They just keep the machine running, and the machine itself looks rusty. The ideology problem is worse. Democrats don't know what they stand for anymore. The progressives say they want bold action, Medicare for all, student debt cancellation, Green New Deal, but the moderates panic at the idea of alienating suburban swing voters. So what happens? They water everything down, end up with half measures, and then nobody's happy. Progressives say it's not enough, moderates say it went too far, and voters say, what was the point of this again? That's been the story for the last decade. The Republicans, for all their chaos, have a clear story. Trump, nationalism, anti-immigration, tariffs, America first. The Democrat story is basically, we're not that. That might win you a cycle, but it's not a long-term plan. Money is another problem. The DNC is badly underfunded compared to the RNC, and Trump's base is throwing money at him like never before. Democrats depend on small donors and big donors, but both groups are less fired up right now. When your average person is pessimistic about the party's future, they're not pulling out their wallet. That puts the Democrats in a dangerous place heading into the midterms, especially when Trump is openly talking about tearing up mail-in voting and tightening election rules, which could crush Democratic turnout. There's also a serious branding issue. Democrats have allowed themselves to look like the party of elites, of college-educated liberals who live in big cities, while Republicans have branded themselves, sometimes dishonestly, but effectively, as the party of working-class America. That gap is killing Democrats in places like Ohio, Iowa, and Florida. They're trying to fix it by running farmers, pastors, and local leaders in red districts, but that's patchwork. The national brand still looks coastal and elitist. So here's the blunt truth. The Democratic Party today feels weak, uninspired, and disorganized. It has recognizable faces, but no leader that the majority of voters actually rally around. It has ideas, but no unified vision that people can believe in. It has money, but not enough to match Republicans' momentum. It has a base, but the base is fractured and unmotivated. The whole thing feels like a party waiting for someone, anyone, to step up and give it direction. Until that happens, they're just drifting, hoping Trump and the Republicans self-destruct. But that's not a strategy, that's wishful thinking. If they don't figure out who they are and what they stand for, they're going to keep losing ground. Not because their ideas are bad, but because they can't tell a story people actually buy into. And in politics, story is everything. Alright, got it. Wow, that was a tough one. But anyway, let me know down in the comments whether or not you agree with ChatGPT. Now, we all know the problems the Dems are facing right now, but what about the solution? That's what I'm going to ask next. But before I do, take a moment to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video on your socials so that more people can see it. Those little clicks mean everything for the channel. Simple as that. Thanks a lot, and now let's get to the final question. Alright, so then, what is the actual plan? What do Democrats have to do to win again? And here's what it said. If I were giving the Democrats a plan to actually win again, it starts with admitting what doesn't work. For years now, they've leaned on a cultural pitch that centers around equality, diversity, and LGBTQ+ rights. Those are the right things morally, and they should absolutely stay part of the platform. Nobody's saying throw out justice or fairness, but the reality is those issues alone don't move moderates, independents, or swing voters. They resonate strongly with urban, college-educated, younger crowds, but they fall flat in middle America where people feel like their economic concerns are secondary. If Democrats want to win again, they need to stop running candidates who lead with culture war language and start running candidates who sound like they actually care about the cost of groceries, health insurance premiums, and whether your kid can get a decent job after high school. The progressive wing has had its moment, and it's clear now that a far-left ideology just doesn't win nationally. Waving the Democratic Socialist banner might get applause on Twitter, but it loses elections in swing states. The Democrats need to stop pretending that America is about to turn into Sweden. It's not. The only savior for the party is someone left-centrist, someone who can walk into a diner in Ohio or a VFW hall in Pennsylvania and not sound like they're speaking a foreign language. That person doesn't have to abandon progressive values. What they need is balance. They should talk about equality and diversity, but frame them as American values, not niche causes. They should argue for climate action, but do it in terms of jobs, national security, and protecting farmers from droughts, not just saving polar bears. The messaging has to be about kitchen table issues, not academic debates. When Democrats lead with economics, wages, and opportunity, they win. When they lead with cultural battles, they get crushed in middle America and barely scrape by in suburban districts. The party also desperately needs to fix its branding problem. Right now, Democrats are seen as the party of elites, Hollywood, professors, and urban activists. That's poison in rural and working-class communities. Republicans have successfully branded themselves as the party of real America, even though their actual policies often hurt those same voters. Democrats need to take that ground back. That means recruiting candidates who don't just look diverse on a brochure, but who come from real local roots. Teachers, veterans, small business owners, people who know what it feels like to live paycheck to paycheck. It's not enough to parachute polished coastal types into red states and hope they connect. Voters see through that. They want authenticity. And the biggest piece? Leadership. The Democrats don't have a face right now. Biden's gone, Kamala's not popular enough, Bernie's too old, and Newsom's too polarizing. They need someone fresh, someone who can stand in front of the country and say, I get it, I know life's expensive, I know the system feels rigged, I'm here to fix it. That person has to be left centrist, progressive enough to keep the base, but moderate enough to win independents. Without that, the party will stay fractured, drifting between the far left and a watered-down middle. So the plan is simple. Stop chasing the dream of a socialist America. Keep the values but shift the framing. Center the message on economic opportunity. Recruit candidates with authentic local roots. Rebuild the brand to look like the party of ordinary Americans. And find a left-centrist leader who can unify the factions. If they do that, they have a chance to be great again. If they don't, they'll keep watching Republicans define the narrative while Democrats argue with themselves. And there you have it. ChatGPT says that the Democrats need a left centrist if they want any kind of shot against the Republicans in the future. But what do you think? Do you actually agree with AI's plan or not? Be sure to drop your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that join button if you want to support the channel directly. After that, I definitely recommend checking out this next video where I asked AI to predict the 2028 election and even say who it would vote for. So if you missed it, go on and watch it now. Thanks so much for watching, click on the pop-up, and I'll be waiting for you there.